Welcome back. Notice anything different? Yes, I did get my hair cut. Thanks so much for noticing. Today we're going to be talking about the death scene. So, death scenes. I've made my share of them, so I have some advice I can give. It really depends on the character. I will tell you about the protagonist side first, because it kind of separates itself. It's a little, there are two spectrums when you're looking at protagonist deaths and then antagonist deaths. So let me get into that. With protagonist deaths, you will want to make it as memorable as possible. There are several things that I'll point out. Inside jokes, codes, flashbacks, and I think that's it for what I can remember at this point. First we're going to be talking about inside jokes. Inside jokes are always a really memorable way to end a character who was really close with your main character. If the character has grown up with your main character or has seen your main character grow up and they are so close that they have this inside joke, you will want to end that character's life right before they die. You would want them to mention the inside joke. So not only is it super sweet because they're trying to raise the main character's spirits, but it also makes a really big impact on the readers. Second, codes. For people who aren't as close, you might want to use a code. Kind of like how whenever you're watching a Marvel movie and one of those Hydra agents dies saying "Hail Hydra," kind of like that. So say your character's part of a regiment or something and they have some kind of code and the character that dies just says the code before they die. It could be memorable based on what your character remembers from that code. It could not be. You can use it to your advantage. Third one is flashbacks. Flashbacks will get you very far. I will tell you that. When you're killing off a character and it's like a slower death, you'll want to add flashbacks. The main character will be thinking of all these good times with this character that they were so close with, and right before they slip away, she the main character, she or he, is thinking about all these things that have happened and just kind of crying over their loved one that's passed. So those are the ones I have for protagonist, and I hope this one's helped. Let's move on to the next. So, you want to hear about antagonist deaths, do you? Alright, typically these will not be the very sympathetic, memorable ones that you hear, that you really read. Most of these are the main character kills the bad guy, ooh, that person's dead. You can make it memorable, you could not, depending on how much you like your villain. With antagonist deaths, you can use codes. That would work too. So for these, you might want to use a code, a threat, and also, depending on who your main character is. If your main character was close to the antagonist, not even knowing that they were the antagonist until like right before they passed, then you can use flashbacks too. That would also be very good. But considering how most typical antagonists are, and they are more brooding than lighthearted, I would say that that inside jokes wouldn't really be a way to end their life. So I will talk about what I've mentioned. Codes. Same with what I said earlier. This is a good way to end these characters, because most of the time the main character will not be very close to the antagonist. Honestly, most of the time the protagonist is against the antagonist, and all they know was that they're supposed to be against each other because they're on opposite sides of your worldview spectrum. So what I would say is that would be a good way if your antagonist is part of some kind of organization and they're very loyal to that organization, and they just say the code before they pass. Second, a threat. That is a creepy way to end a villain's life, but also continue the plot line and leave both the main character and the reader in suspense. So basically, like, you will rue the day, or you will pay for this, or like some kind of big some kind of big just what's the word, I just lost the word. Foreshadowing that would just keep your main character guessing. You know, just kind of like, I don't know, something very suspenseful, like some kind of coded statement that they wouldn't guess, but they like, it somehow keeps coming back to them, and they have to try to figure it out in order to completely save the day, because obviously that guy was just a pawn. Then the last one, flashbacks. Depending on how close your main character is to the villain, you might want to use flashbacks. Say your main character, their main character's best friend was really deceivingly nice, and all of a sudden he turned against him. But since they were best friends, they had a lot of memories together. So as this person is passing, the main character will obviously have some memories of this person before they officially die. And again, I don't think I would use inside jokes, because even if it's a best friend, who passes away, like a best friend that turns into a villain, obviously they turn into a villain because they don't like the main character too much. So I wouldn't add that. But those are all my tips on death scenes, and so I hope these help you to become more successful like me. I'm kidding. But have an amazing rest of your Monday, however late it is, wherever you are. And I will see you on the flip side.